I'm being joined by former President of Afghanistan, Mr. Hamid Karzai. Many thanks for joining us. Mr. Karzai, you have been one of the most important hands when it comes to security aspects, talking about regional peace. Afghanistan and the future of Afghanistan lies with the key stakeholders in the region, United States of America being one. What are your expectations from the Trump administration?
Plenty in the sense that the US government knows my views and the conditions in Afghanistan for a long time now. And I was happy to see President-elect Trump recognize last week the difficulties in Afghanistan and to talk about it. My advice to him would be to go back to a very in-depth reanalysis of what has gone on in Afghanistan, the good things that we have, the difficulties that we have, and the solutions that we must seek. He must also consult deeply with the regional countries, those who have now concerns about the situation in Afghanistan, those who have now concerns about the rise of new forms of extremism in Afghanistan and in the region, namely Daesh and all that. Therefore, it's time for the United States and for the new government to think deeper and go back to the drawing board.
Talking about the Trump administration, United States of America, while an important player in the region, has been working a lot in bringing stability in Afghanistan. But when it comes to working with countries in the region, such as Pakistan, there is, in a way that we've seen, US and various countries compromise on a lot of things, given that they require Pakistan in Afghanistan.
Require Pakistan and Afghanistan for what objective? For the objective of peace and security in Afghanistan? That has worked against them. Pakistan has not been delivering what we all needed in Afghanistan to end sanctuaries, to end promoting extremism, radicalism, and the use of extremism as a tool. Therefore, if this was the objective, clearly this objective has not been reached. Rather, we see more trouble in Afghanistan. Rather, we see more radicalism in Afghanistan. And also, unfortunately, as I've said before, in Pakistan itself, there is massive suffering by the Pakistani civilians, within the Pakistani civilians, at the hands of extremists that were raised there. So if that is the expectation, or was the expectation of US governments, that has clearly failed us. Therefore, let's go back to reconsider our approach. Not that we should go against Pakistan, but to bring Pakistan by the means available with the US and with the rest of us to proper conduct in this region with its neighbors.
If you have to advise President-elect Donald Trump when he begins his term, what would your few advice be on handling Afghanistan in terms of how US should handle Afghanistan, play a role in Afghanistan, handle Pakistan, and the military solutions, or not, political as well?
Exactly. We know that heavy-handed military action in Afghanistan did not bring them what they wanted. Rather, it caused massive alienation of the Afghan people and suffering to the Afghan people, and also suffering to the Americans, the waste of American resources and lives and treasure. And on the other hand, we also saw that keeping Pakistan engaged, hoping towards change in Pakistani behavior towards Afghanistan or policies on the whole, did not bring them what they were seeking. Pakistan continued to do what it wanted to do, what it thought was good for them, which unfortunately is not, is proven now, is not. So on both these fronts, the United States must change track. One, begin to help Afghanistan in reconstruction, in improvement of the economy of Afghanistan, rather than wasting resources on military action in Afghanistan. They must begin to look at Afghanistan as a place where they can invest and earn from. Second, on Pakistan, they must be very clear. A country that they call ally must become an ally and follow the same objectives. You cannot be allies and yet walk in two different directions. One, seeking an end to extremism, the other, promoting extremism. No.
Would you be engaging with this new Trump administration? Would you also be meeting and engaging in establishing contact with the Trump advisors and those who handle Afghanistan?
Sure, why not? If they approach me for views on Afghanistan, for consultation on Afghanistan, I'll be more than happy to do that, and will be honored to do that. It's my country, and we want to be friends with America, but we want to be friends with America where Afghanistan also benefits, not where we keep losing. Therefore, yes, of course.
Kandahar attack, a dastardly attack where for the first time UAE lost 5 diplomats.
Very sad.
The ambassador was injured. Does that change things for how UAE looks at Pakistan, given that Afghanistan has already come out and said that entire attack was planned in the by the Quetta Shura and Haqqani network?
A very important question. I'm glad you asked this. So I can have one more opportunity to extend our pain and grievances to the people of UAE and to the government of UAE, and also to the Afghans who lost their lives, not only in Kandahar that day, but in Kabul, but in Helmand and many places too. Second, yes, I very much hope so. Would rather be encouraging the United Arab Emirates, our good brothers and friends, to look at the situation in Afghanistan and the question of extremism from a very different angle, where they now know that it can hurt everybody, and that they should reconsider and approach Pakistan in a different way. Friendly, yes, of course, with them. They should remain to be friendly, they should remain to engage with them, but also to tell their friends that life can't go on in promoting or in hobnobbing or in being friendly with extremists, that it hurts them and that they cannot accept anymore.
Do you see the footprints of ISI or the establishment in the attacks?
We see, of course, in Afghanistan in many different ways, in many attacks. Not that we are trying to blame ISI or Pakistan for everything that goes wrong in Afghanistan. There are things that are internal, that every country has. But we know that the foundation of the problem is in Pakistan. That the original thought, the processes that lead to all of that violence emanate in Pakistan and are rooted in Pakistan. It's there that we want to change from our brothers in Pakistan. Not when we say Pakistan, we don't mean the people of Pakistan. Nobody means that. They are lovely people. They've been looking after us massively kindly. No, when we say Pakistan, we mean that narrow element there. Call it the establishment, call it the vested interest, whatever, that they should change. They should adopt a more humane, better behavior, a more clever one towards gaining their objectives.
In your experience as somebody who headed the country, there are recent reports of Pakistan having used chemical weapons against people such as the Pashtuns. There are families from the ones who demand free Pashtunistan have come out and said that they're using chemical weapons. In your experience, has there been any evidence of Pakistan having chemical and biological weapons, and are they using it for oppression?
There's no doubt that they have those weapons, but whether they've used it or not, I don't know. I've never had a thing like this before, but this is something that we must go and look at more deeply.
But chemical weapons and biological weapons are one of the biggest challenges and threats to security, and Pakistan does have them.
Yes, they have them, sure, but I don't know if they've used them, and that we must go in and look deeper.
There's also another report that has come in very recently, and this has to do with India. We also suffered a very huge train tragedy. And in that Kanpur tragedy, the recent report suggests that there was the ISI hand in ensuring that the trains get derailed, and it caused
so it was sabotage rather than accident.
Yes. And there are Pak ISI links that are emerging. Would you think it is too far-fetched, or it is something that Pak ISI is quite capable of in terms of creating and causing damage and destruction?
Our experience in Afghanistan shows that they are quite capable of doing things like that, and they wouldn't hesitate if they could do a thing like that. They wouldn't hesitate, they would go ahead and straight do it. In case of India, I hear it now, and if this is the case, then of course it's condemnable in the strongest possible terms. And that's what we are talking about from the very beginning for so many years, both India and Afghanistan. One of the most important common causes that we have between the two of us, Afghanistan and India, is the question of extremism and using religion and exploiting religious sentiments towards radicalism. And that unfortunately is done in Pakistan. And that has to change. We hope it will change.
India has been trying to impress upon the United States of America as also the other very important partner in fighting terror at the United Nations, that's China, in ensuring that elements such as Masood Azhar and Hafiz Saeed are brought to book. China continues to block India's moves at the UNSC. Does it work in anybody's favor in the region to have an all-weather friend or friendship between Pakistan and China, where countries such as Afghanistan and India suffer?
China is a very close friend of Afghanistan. China has been very kind to Afghanistan, and China understands Afghanistan's situation very, very well. We've had in-depth discussions over many years with China, and China, I know, ma'am, knows what is going on in Pakistan. China suffers itself from extremism and terrorism in China. Therefore, it is a major, major concern, just as we have had conversations with India on extremism and how to curb it. And where inevitably the name of Pakistan comes, or the name of Pakistan establishment comes, the same is with China. We talk to them and this name comes up inevitably and very often. Now, what happened in the United Nations, I'm not privy to that. Certainly, someone like this, you said Masood Azhar. Well, clearly he is a bad element, and clearly we must all join hands to have him named what he should be named.
The subcontinent, SAARC is a very important forum, but we have seen the SAARC summit being cancelled. All the countries in the region came together to cancel the recent the SAARC summit only because of one member. That is what India said yesterday. The Foreign Secretary named and said that one member's insecurity is the reason why SAARC has not been able to move forward. Do you agree with the Foreign Secretary and the Prime Minister's view?
I very much agree. SAARC is a tremendously forceful entity if allowed to unleash its energies and cooperative environment is created there. Yes, unfortunately, one country has been blocking by the mere fact of preventing transportation, of exchange of goods and of ideas, and allowing the body to move forward in a cohesive in a manner where the interest of all is taken into consideration. Yes, it is true. And again, we can only appeal to good sense. And I hope good sense will prevail in our brothers in Pakistan to make SAARC a thriving locomotive of change in this region.
Finally, before I end this interview, the United States and the whole idea of the new Trump administration, should they be looking at the aid that they provide to Pakistan and use that as a tactic and as a weapon, as a tool to ensure Pakistan comes on board sincerely in fighting terror?
They should use all the means available to them. Not only aid, but every other aspect of relationship. Not only the United States, but in coordination with others, with Russia, with China, with India, to make sure that Pakistan comes to a different standard of conducting relations, that by which Pakistan doesn't see extremism anymore as a tool, which it isn't, it's hurting them already, but that by which Pakistan is brought to the realization that they should stop using extremism as a tool. That's a desire, that's a wish, and we hope it comes true soon.
Finally, what are your expectations from India and the United States of America when it comes to Afghanistan? Should there be more military cooperation? Should India be involved more militarily as well?
Well, I spoke about the United States. India is a tremendous friend. India has been a very kind friend, a country that has been at the forefront, a country that went beyond its means to help Afghanistan. The thousands of educated youth that we have today in our country were trained in India. The transmission lines, the schools, the dams, and the help given to us. It's a good buddy with us, and we like it very much, and we are thankful.
On that note, May, thanks for joining us. Indeed a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to talk to you. Good to talk to you. Good to talk to you.